Fox Sports.
Corey Hart on the first pitch sends one deep to left field, and there she goes. We are tied. 3-2 pitch. Casey back up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit. Weeks scores. Here comes Fielder, and that's your ball game. Casey McGee does it again.
What a start to the rivalry series in Milwaukee. How do you top last night? Well, we're going to try here from Miller Park. Game 2, Cubs and Brewers as the rivalry continues. And Corey Hart on top of the home run leaderboard in the National League. That's right, with 15. And how about Casey McGee? Since last year, the beginning of 2009, the highest runner in scoring position, average at 381, and he came through again last night. We'll see how they play it out here in Game 2. Hi, everybody. I'm Craig Kashan as we continue our coverage of the Cubs and Brewers here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. What a year for Corey Hart. Top of the leaderboard in home runs in the National League. Who would have thunk, right? Well, his swing definitely back in order. Dale Swaim, the hitting coach, breaks it down.
One on the left is early in the year, and the one on the right is last night's home run. The one on the left, early in the year, his hands were higher. His load was much more weight on his backside, and the difference now is he's lowered his hands the last few weeks. He's got his weight distributed evenly, and now he goes back. If you see the weight right there, it's just even now, and before he was leaning back too much with his load, so he's getting a lot of movement in his head. And now with his hands lower, his hands actually will go up. Obviously, Corey's always had a nice home run swing anyway, but now it's creating a much more leverage and much more balance in his swing to be able to create consistency on pitches to get the hit.
Oh, very timely. Speaking of timely, Casey at the plate, the other hot bat in that Brewer lineup. VA and Bill talk about his calm, cool demeanor in clutch situations. Brewers, Cubs on the way.
AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T Rethink Possible. And buy the new Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. This kind of day is why we live here. What a beautiful night for baseball we have tonight. The Brewers and the Cubs, it's Game 2. And the man of the hour from last night, Casey McGee. The mighty Casey did it again. Casey McGee this year with 9 home runs, 45 runs batted in. That is the best in the National League as far as RBIs. And hi, everybody. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Great to have you with us tonight. And, Rock, isn't it interesting that in this season of inconsistency, the one constant has been Casey McGee driving and runs?
Yeah, runners in scoring position, and nobody better in all of baseball, but there's a reason for that. Guys that have success in these situations take what the pitcher gives him. If he has the count in his favor, he will pull the ball and try and drive it. 2 strikes up the middle end of the opposite field. Casey McGee, very disciplined, makes contact. He's only struck out 35 times. It's those types of hitters that rise to those types of situations.
Well, we have been on the Casey McGee bandwagon for an all-star appearance all year, but look at the numbers as you go across the board. Some of the top producing third basemen in all of baseball. That includes Evan Longoria. That includes Alex Rodriguez. Casey McGee's numbers comparable to any of those. Hopefully he'll have a spot on the all-star team in Anaheim coming up next month. If he keeps swinging the bat like this, you think he will. Randy Wolf is on the mound tonight for the Brew Crew. Can they make it 2 in a row against the Cubs? Lineups and the first pitch coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Well, the top RBI duos in all of baseball. How about Casey McGee and Corey Hart? Not Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder. They trail only Troy Gloss and the fantastic rookie Jason Hayward. They were a big part of last night's win as well, as Corey Hart hit the home run that tied it. McGee had the base hit that won it, and we are set for game 2 here tonight. Randy Wolf's first pitch is in there for strike 1, and away we go. Randy Wolf against Ryan Theriot. All of a sudden the Cubs are slumping big time. They've lost 8 of their last 12 games. Cubs come in with a 26-32 record, 6.5 back in the National League Central, as Theriot bounces one to McGee right on cue. And one gone here in the first. You've seen Ryan Theriot. Let's give you the rest of the starting lineup, turned in by Lou Piniella. It is brought to you by Subway. Theriot has put up good numbers against the Brewers this season, although he took an 0 for last night. Jeff Baker gets the start at third. Aramis Ramirez on the disabled list. Derek Lee batting third. The middle of the order is Bird, Nady, and Soriano. And Soto, Castro, and Zambrano rounded out.
Well, and all right-handed hitters to face Randy Wolf here today for the Chicago Cubs lineup. Well, last time out for Randy Wolf at St. Louis, he got a loss, 6 2/3 though. Gave up 5 runs, ran out of steam in the latter part of that start. Pitched well though in the middle of the game.
Jeff Baker getting the start at third base. Aramis Ramirez has been nursing an injured thumb, and a batting average in the 160s. Darryl Cousins is the crew chief. He calls the balls and strikes tonight. Marvin Hudson, Jim Joyce, and Jim Wolf on the bases. The older brother of Randy Wolf getting to see his brother pitch up close and personal for the first time this year. Now Jim Wolf cannot umpire home plate. He cannot be the balls and strikes man with his brother on the mound.
But he can ring up a guy on a check swing for his brother.
Sure he can. Some conspiracy theorists would say.
You're out.
So it's 2 against 1 tonight against the Cubs is what you're saying.
Yeah, the only problem is no left-handed batters for the Cubs. At least to start out. Well, no chance to ring anybody up for his brother.
Now this particular umpiring crew has had a whirlwind season. A lot of notoriety, some good, some bad. As Baker bounces one up the middle, Weeks a jump throw. Baker is on with an infield hit. Check the Brewers defensively with Ryan Braun, Jim Edmonds, and Corey Hart in the outfield. Casey McGee at third. Counsell gets the start at shortstop tonight with Weeks and Fielder on the right side. And a battery of Wolf and Kataris. Blaine's Farm and Fleet Brewers defense. Escobar sits. Counsell gets the start. So Derek Lee with 1 out and a base runner at first. Let's take a look at some of the numbers from Randy Wolf. His last 4 starts against the Chicago Cubs, and excellent numbers for Randy Wolf, and he's hoping to build off that with his start against the Cubs here tonight. It has not been the kind of season that Wolf was hoping for at this point.
Yeah, Wolf he won 2 games and did not lose a game against the Cubs last year. 1.29 ERA in those 2 starts. The first time he's faced Chicago this year.
Ball and a strike on Derek Lee, sitting on 299 career home runs. He and Alfonso Soriano a home run away from a milestone. Both are at 299. And the Brewers are hoping they leave town still at 299. Soriano pinch hit yesterday. He drove in the go-ahead run in the 9th inning on a ground ball out. But Soriano and Giovanni Soto both out of the starting lineup last night.
Well, the Cubs have had a lot of problems scoring runs throughout the entire season. It hasn't been the pitching that's been the problem for the Cubs. It's run production and some of the big names, the culprits. Lou Piniella trying to put together a lineup very much like Ken Maka right now, trying to put together a combination that's going to score some runs.
Derek Lee has not been the same hitter this year as he has been in the past. Driving in just 24 runs, he has 6 homers and a .235 batting average. He's a proven run producer. Wolf checks on the runner at first.
I don't know how much the effect of Aramis Ramirez not hitting and hasn't hit at all this year, how much that's affected Derek Lee. Because ordinarily it's Ramirez behind Lee in the lineup, and the guy behind the big run producer has to be able to do something, or they're just not going to throw strikes. It's Marlon Byrd behind Derek Lee tonight.
Two balls, two strikes on Lee with a runner at first. And Wolf just missed. Count goes full. Now I wonder if his brother would have called that pitch a strike.
Well, his brother down at third base probably wondering the same thing. It looked like it was off the plate. Good job by Kotaras to make it look good.
A changeup, and it's popped up. Weeks back in the grass. He'll make the call. And it's out number 2. So he threw him a 3-2 changeup, did Randy Wolf, and he gets the out.
Yeah, that was an effective pitch for Wolf his last time out, that Cardinal series. Got a lot of outs on 3-2 counts and actually 2-1 pitches as well. It's a very good pitch to throw when you're behind in the count, when the hitter has the advantage. 3-2, Derek Lee sitting dead fastball and might have chased ball 4. Out on the end because of the lack of velocity, only 78 miles an hour.
So 2 gone. Baker's still at first. He reached on an infield hit. And here's Marlon Byrd. Byrd comes in as one of the best hitters in the National League. His batting average to start the day is .319. Nice off-season acquisition for the Cubs. They picked him up from the Texas Rangers. Free agent acquisition for Chicago. Only Martin Prado of the Atlanta Braves has a higher batting average in the National League than Marlon Byrd. Ryan Braun is on that list as well, inside the top 10. He's currently 7th in the league.
I'd love to know the last time in the National League where a .319 batting average, heading into the middle of June, was 2nd in the league. Batting averages, power numbers, RBI totals down so far this year.
The year of the pitcher, according to Bill Schroeder.
That's the way it's shaking out at least now, right?
That one just missed.
A no-hitter, 2.5 perfect games.
Right.
And Yovani Gallardo continues to dazzle opposition start after start. Now 10 very good starts for Yo in a row.
No win last night for Gallardo, but he pitched well enough to win. 7 shutout innings against the Cubs. As Byrd sends one deep to left field. This is way back, and this ball is gone. Marlon Byrd with a 2-run homer. Number 8 for Byrd, and the Cubs strike first. A 2-out, 2-strike home run from Marlon Byrd.
Yeah, look at the fastball that was supposed to be down and away. Left it up down the middle of the plate, and Byrd gave it a ride into the Brewers bullpen. He doesn't miss too many pitches like that. A 4-seam fastball. Bingo, right down the middle, just above the knees, and he dropped the head on it and carried on out of here.
Now, Byrd had been on a home run drought. That was his first homer since the 14th of May. Homered against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Puts the Cubs on the board 2-0. Two balls, no strikes on Nady. Xavier Nady back in the starting lineup here tonight. It's really a 5 outfielder rotation for Lou Piniella. And you could say if you put them all together, his outfield has been as productive as any outfield in the National League. Marlon Byrd's having a great year. Tyler Colvin, the rookie, has been terrific this season. Soriano's hit.
Yeah, Cupadome's always hit well against Milwaukee. He's having a decent season.
Unusual to have so many outfielders, and in the case of Lou Piniella, he has so many veteran outfielders that he's having a hard time finding playing time for Tyler Colvin, who is probably performing the best of them all as Navy draws the walk.
He's coming to check out the group too. I know we got no sound, but he's practicing anyway. Telly Hughes here from Milwaukee County Stadium. I'm here with my man. Can I get my man in here? My man from Fanatics Sports Central downtown in the 3rd Ward. This is Ron Robinson, the owner and proprietor of the facility. We're here about to head to the Founders Suite, get some grub.
And root on the Brewers. All right, guys.
Tony Smith, man, you know he was born to be a broadcaster, wasn't he?
Yeah, works with Craig down there at the Bradley Center.
Yep.
Tony does a nice job. He really does.
If he's looking for County Stadium, though, he's going to come up empty. Soriano bounces one to short. Counsell the easy way. The inning is over, but the Cubs strike Marlon Byrd with a 2-run homer. A 2-0 lead for the Cubs. Marlon Byrd belting a 2-out, 2-run homer. And Carlos Zambrano on the mound for the Cubs. Here's the Brewers lineup. He'll face Craig Counsell, Ricky Weeks, and Prince Fielder. Interesting that Counsell leads off. Weeks batting second for the first time this year. Middle of the order is Braun, McGee, and Edmonds. And the bottom three, Corey Hart, George Kataris, and Randy Wolf. And how many home run leaders bat seventh in a lineup? As Carlos Zambrano back in the starting rotation rock. It is his second start since being sent to the bullpen.
Yeah, last time out it was at Houston. He got a loss. To only 4 1/3 innings. You got to wonder how much stamina he has. He's expected to go about 100 pitches after making 13 relief appearances for the Cubs.
29 years of age and the site of one of his greatest achievements, Carlos Zambrano, here at Miller Park, when he threw a no-hitter back in the 08 season against the Astros. Matter of fact, Randy Wolf was the opposing pitcher that day. Maybe the tides can be reversed a little bit. Wolf can pick up the victory over Zambrano. Zambrano has not been the same the last couple of years. And an ERA over 6 speaks to that this year as Counsell breaks his bat, and that's a base hit. He hit a little slicer out there. Had an unusual shape to it. The Gold Glover Derek Lee at first base even has to smile at that.
Overran it. I'm not sure what that ball did. It had a slice on it. He went over to the line. It wasn't hit all that hard. And just overran it and couldn't get a glove on it. Crazy looking play. Counsell shatters his bat. Check out Lee. He goes to the line and has to do an about face and not able to grab it. So first batter, first hit for the Brewers.
And it was a slicer. You could really tell with that angle.
Yeah.
And now Ricky Weeks. Well, it's interesting, you know, usually when you hit one down the lines, they slice toward the line or hook toward the line, depending on right-handed or left-handed. That ball did the exact opposite, something you hardly ever see.
Yeah, jam shot like that, you try to get inside it, it has a reverse spin on it. Counterclockwise spin, and that's why the ball sliced like it did.
And Weeks is drilled. So Zambrano hits Ricky Weeks. It was a hit by pitch to Weeks that started it all last night for the Brewers in the 9th inning.
And the Brewers able to tie that game or go ahead and win the ball game with only one base hit, that Casey McGee single. And as you mentioned, a hit batter, a walk. And the Brewers able to pick up the big victory with only one hit in the 9th.
Now Ricky Weeks joins Prince Fielder now at the top of the National League leaderboard. 4 times hit by pitches. Kind of a dubious honor, but it does mean you're getting on base. 9 times Weeks has been hit by a pitch, and in consecutive plate appearances.
And that's pretty much the book on most of the Brewers hitters. You got to pitch them inside, just like that. And when you have pitchers that are trying to work you inside, you're going to get hit by pitches once in a while.
Command issues early for Carlos Zambrano. 2-0 the count on Fielder. Back in the 3-hole tonight. Braun waiting on deck as the cleanup hitter. And Prince bounces one to first. That is a fair ball. The only play is first. Fielder retired, but a productive out. Both runners advance. Let's check the Cubs defensively for you. Soriano, Bird, and Nady, the 3 outfielders tonight for Piniella. Jeff Baker starts at third. Starlin Castro and Ryan Terrio at the Keystone, with Derek Lee, the Gold Glover, at first. Giovanni Soto, former Rookie of the Year, back in the starting lineup tonight as well. One gone for Ryan Braun. Runners at second and third for Braun. Braun 7th in the league in hitting to start the day at .309. Has 8 homers, 34 driven in. He chased one. Falls behind in the count. What do you think about the lineup today, partner?
Yeah, well, I talked to Ken Maka about it, and very unusual to take Ricky out of that leadoff spot, but it's all about not stacking up left-handers back-to-back in the lineup. You know, if Weeks is leading off and you have Counsell in the number 2 spot, you've got 2 lefties in the lineup back-to-back, making it a little bit easier for Lou Piniella to make a switch late in the game.
0-2 on Braun.
But again, you try and put together a lineup. The only thing Ken Maka can do, he can't go up there and try and get base hits. The only thing he can do is try and mix and match, put guys in different spots to try and generate some offense, which has been an issue for the Brewers lately.
0-2 to Braun with 2 on. And Ryan chasing another one out there, this time able to foul it off. So he is not seeing that pitch all that well. That was well out of the strike zone. Matter of fact, Zambrano, despite being ahead of the count 0-2, has not thrown one in the strike zone.
Now, this is a time of day where it can be tough to see, and Ryan Braun has had struggles, you know, at times like this. Tough to see. All hitters do.
Infield is back. They'll concede the run. And Braun will deliver that run. So Counsell scores, and Braun drives in his 35th. Cubs are glad to have the out. 2 gone in the inning now. 1 run in for Milwaukee, and here comes Casey McGee.
What a nice at bat for Casey last night to win the ball game. The only fastball really to swing at came on the first pitch, and his steady diet of sliders. That slider hung up in the strike zone. Another one in the dirt. He finally got it to a 3-2 count. And we're talking about taking what the pitcher gives you, a slider up and away, and just rolls it up the middle. Didn't try and pull it. If he did, the game would have been over, and the Brewers would have lost.
Well, the Brewers have come up with some final at-bat magic here at Miller Park in their last 2 homestands. That's the 3rd time they have won in walk-off fashion. in the last 2 homestands. And McGee drives one into right center field, and that one is going to be run down by Nady. He hit it hard, but Nady, playing in the gap, makes the catch. 2-1 Cubs as we go to the second. Milwaukee, the Brewers sending Randy Wolf back to the mound. And some news earlier today. Talked to Greg Zahn, and he made the announcement that he will indeed accept the advice of the doctors, and he is going to undergo shoulder surgery to repair a torn labrum, and that surgery will occur in Cincinnati. Same doctor who performed the elbow surgery on Greg Zahn. That was the surgeon he felt comfortable with. And Rocket means a loss for the season and a career that is in jeopardy as well, as Giovanni Soto sends one deep to left center field, and that's another home run. Soto, notorious for jumping on the first pitch, ambushes Randy Wolf, and it is 3-1 Cubs. And this game already has a hitter's kind of feel to it.
Yeah, ball carrying pretty well. Not much of a breeze blowing anywhere. Yeah, but a nice warm night, and the ball flying out of here, at least for the Cubs so far tonight. Check out the pitch. It was supposed to be away. Almost the identical pitch that Marlon Byrd hit out of the ballpark. Maybe a little bit higher. Right down the middle. And Soto knocked it out of here. 12th home run allowed for Randy Wolf. That's been an issue for him this year.
2 swings of the bat today, and it has produced all 3 runs. A 2-run homer by Byrd, a solo shot by Soto. Well, Ken Maka knows as well as anyone the Brewers have to get some success from the mound from somebody other than Gallardo. As Castro pops it up. 1 gone here in the second inning.
A lot of options for Ken Maka as far as starting pitchers go, and you play the matchups. You see who's going to get hot. You got Dave Bush, Capuano. Got a couple of guys out there in the bullpen that can make starts for you. Just has to find a couple of guys along with Gallardo to show some consistency. This hasn't been there so far this year.
Carlos Zambrano, the batter for the Cubs. He is hitless this season. He's 0 for 9, but he's always been a very good hitter. He's a good hitter regardless, not just the fact that he's a pitcher. Matter of fact, his career batting average is .233, and he has 20 career home runs. No Cub pitcher has ever come close to that number.
And a switch hitter, so he's always got that baseball coming into him.
And a hot one back through for a base hit. Zambrano's first hit of the season. And the Cubs have their hitting shoes on here early tonight.
Well, if you're traveling this season, take the Brewers with you. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Brewers game live or on demand on your computer. Visit Brewers.com to order and to get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere.
Nice night to have a little picnic. Or to be at a ball game.
Out there on the patio.
And if you can do both,
yeah,
well, that's a doubleheader. Top of the order, Ryan Theriot. Theriot grounded out his first time up. Incidentally, speaking of the pitching, Chris Capuano is in the bullpen. He's available tonight, and Ken Maka is going to use Capuano very carefully, coming back from a second Tommy John surgery. We'll kind of step into that. Oh, Fielder stabs one, makes the catch on a soft liner. Out number 2.
Well, that one had the normal slice. A right-handed hitter gets jammed, and it sliced actually toward Prince as he went after it. And Ryan Theriot continues to struggle in this series, and as we've documented, he's been very good against Milwaukee. Now 0 for 7 in the series.
So 2 gone. Zambrano still at first, and here is Jeff Baker. Off the end of the bat, and it's Counsell, a little flip, and the inning is over. But the home run ball rears its head once again against Randy Wolf. Giovanni Soto homers. 3-1 our score. And speaking of home runs, Corey Hart will hit second when we come back. He's the National League leader.
I'm focused on getting better. I'm focused on the rehab aspect of the injury, and I think it's easier for me to process that than it is for me to sit here in the dugout and watch the game and know that there's absolutely nothing that I can do to help my teammates win a ball game. There's nothing I can do other than maybe talk to them, you know. And from that aspect, nothing there will change. You know, as far as Georgie and Jonathan are concerned, they both know how to get in touch with me. I'll continue to be a part of their lives and a part of their development if they'll let me.
The words of Greg Zahn. You can see why he's going to be a great broadcaster one day, but this is it's a tough situation for Zahn, who is 39 years of age, and just one of those surgeries, the torn labrum, that is career threatening at this point, and you can sense that he feels that.
And it's just agonizing, being on the bench, knowing that you can't do anything to help your ball club. As he was talking about, you know, I've been through surgeries before, and it is It is a very difficult thing to sit there. It's much easier to rehab and stay home and work on that, because it takes that frustration away from it somewhat. When you're sitting there day in and day out, we saw Ricky Weeks last year when he joined the ball club. You could just see in his face how much he wanted to be out there. It's tough.
3-1 Cubs as we play in the bottom of the second. Jim Edmonds leads off. And the 2-2, Edmonds reaches out, serves one to Soriano in left field. Here comes Corey Hart. And boy, has he had a year. Since mid-May, he has destroyed all pitching. Powerball home run number 15 last night. That leads the National League. And Corey Hart hit a big one last night. It tied the game. And it was an 8th inning home run. The Cubs had taken the lead, and Hart got it right back, or at least got the game right back.
I can't remember too many of Corey's home runs that really didn't mean much. I mean, they have been big, important home runs. You know, none of those, down 10-0 home runs or up 10-0. Close games, and they've been important, big points in the game.
We talked about the 3 game-winning hits in the last 2 homestands. Corey Hart had the walk-off home run against the Mets. That gave Gallardo a win on the last homestand. We've seen the Brewers win in their final at-bat on a bases-loaded walk. Hart's home run, and last night McGee's 2 RBI single. As Corey pops that one up. 2 outs. Time now for our carsoup.com email the booth question. Brady and Rhinelander wants to know, is Corey Hart expected to be a power hitter type of player for the Brewers?
No doubt about that. I mean, your corner outfielders are expected to be run producers and home run hitters. First base and third base are considered to be run producing spots. So your corners, the corner positions, are the big run producing positions, and right field's included in that.
Now Hart has already surpassed his home run total from a year ago. Corey was an all-star in 2008, had back-to-back 20 home run seasons for the Brewers, and the year he was an all-star, that was coming off the 24 homer season of 07, and then he had a 20 homer season in 08 as well, and well out ahead of that pace this year. Just a couple of subtle changes as Kataris drills one foul. As we hit the air tonight, Craig Kashawn and Jerry Augustine talking about the subtle changes of Corey Hart's swing, and brought to our eyes by Dale Swain. Just little changes that might not be recognizable to the naked eye. Kataris lines one, Bird runs it down. Well hit ball for an out. 1-2-3 inning for Zambrano. Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin, and by Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. Tip our hat to our great crew working this game tonight. Produced by Chris Withers, directed in the truck by Michael Odino. And all the men and women who bring Brewers baseball into your living rooms each and every night. 3-1 Cubs as we head to the third inning. Derek Lee back up there for a second time. Randy Wolf has given up 2 home run balls. Marlon Byrd got him in the first, and Soto a solo shot in the second.
And both coming off mistake fastballs right down the middle. Randy Wolf has to be careful how he uses the fastball, particularly early in the count for this Cub club.
Pretty well hit into right, slicing away from Hart, and he's got it for the out. So Lee is retired, and here comes Marlon Byrd. Well, this guy has swung a big bat for the Cubs this year. He's done everything they've expected him to do. He was a terrific hitter in Texas, and that swing is the symbolic swing of the Rudy Jaramillo way. Very little leg kick, just a pick up and a put down of the front foot, and that short compact stroke. And you think about the Texas Rangers and so many of their hitters, guys like Michael Young and Ian Kinsler, and you could see how Rudy Jaramillo's impact has been left with that team, and we'll see the Rangers here on Friday night.
And what's interesting about Marlon Byrd, a lot of guys that do that, they pick the foot up and set it down and just lift the heel, have a wide stance. Marlon Byrd has a very close stance, a short stance. His feet are very close together, and you don't see that very often. That combination of styles is not really all that prevalent. Look how close his feet are together. He just picks it up and sets it down. No stride at all.
Little half swing roller, fielder bobbles and able to recover for the out. And one thing Byrd always does, and you might have noticed on that play, he runs everything out, which is why he is a welcome sight for Cubs fans. That guy, even in his home run trot, he sprints around.
Yep. Yeah, a little check swing, and taking nothing for granted and running hard all the way down the bag. Prince bobbles the baseball, and he made it close. It's a shame, though, when you have to really talk about a guy hustling.
Yeah, when it's newsworthy when a guy hustles.
Yeah. But it's true.
Yeah. Two outs for Nady. Marlon Byrd, check this out. This was his home run. Probably has the fastest home run trot in all of baseball. See, now you can appreciate that as an opponent as well. I mean, he did his business, and then he just puts his head down and runs. I say we start celebrating players who play the game the right way.
Right. I agree. We have been doing that, haven't we?
Well, ever since I've been here. But you're right. Because of the way the game is in a lot of areas.
A lot of guys don't run out of routine ground ball. Just the way it is.
There's a lot of watching going on.
Yeah, guys hitting home runs, flipping the bat, and taking a nice jog around the bases, enjoying every minute of it. There's nothing wrong with that, but some pitchers will take exception to it.
I think it's cyclical, don't you? I think it trends one way or the other, and I think this trend is coming back. You're starting to see a lot more, what would you call it? Etiquette baseball,
yeah,
I guess is the best way to put it. Not that you can't have your fun.
Guys not trying to show each other up as much, maybe, right?
The Brewers had a team meeting before the season began and made that specific point. It was led by Prince Fielder and Ryan Braun, saying that, you know what, maybe we should tone down some of our antics a little bit.
Everything but the 1-2 punch.
Got to keep that.
Are they still doing the 1-2 punch?
I think they are, aren't they?
Haven't noticed. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
2-2. It stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still has the white shoes. Billy White Shoes Johnson of the Houston Oilers. White Shoes Braun. Jim Edmonds has a lot of white in his shoes as well. A little change up, fouled away. Brings my partner back to his Clemson days when he sees those white shoes.
Yeah, white shoes and the orange Puma stripe. Hey, they were free. We had to wear them. You know, as long as the color in your cleats or somewhere in your uniform, you're okay. Like Ryan couldn't go out there with red cleats.
And the white shoes with the gray uniform didn't go over so well either. Off the end of the bat. That was another 3-2 changeup. And Wolf, his best inning. 3 up, 3 down. He needed that.
Cubs on a couple of home runs. And don't forget, vote now for the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim. Help send your favorite Brewers, Corey Hart, I should say Casey McGee and Ryan Braun, I guess, right now to this year's All-Star Game by voting up to 25 times at Brewers.com. Vote early and vote often. Vote today at Brewers.com. I guess Corey Hart would be in there as well.
Yeah, I'll go for Corey Hart.
The way he's going.
I think the league leader in home runs should be represented. The only problem is Corey Hart is not on the All-Star ballot, which is a bit of news in its own right.
Yeah.
Casey McGee deserves to be there.
Except for extenuating circumstances. It's based on the opening day lineup. And Corey was not in that opening day lineup here at Miller Park.
Brewer pitcher leads off, Randy Wolf. Zambrano has retired 6 straight since the first 2 batters reached. Brewers got a run in the first. And Zambrano strikes out Randy Wolf. Not seeing the kind of velocity from Zambrano that we're used to, and we haven't seen that big velocity, that big fastball in the last couple of years. There were some concerns that he might be injured because his fastball was down in velocity, but he says that's not the case.
Yeah, he used to be 95 to 97 with a fastball. Right now, topping out at about 93, but consistently 91, 92. Slider and splitter. And he throws his splitter mostly to left-handed batters and sliders to the right-handers.
Counsell has the only hit against Zambrano, and he scored the only run for the Crew. Zambrano, back in the 07 season, so just 3 years ago, he was an 18-game winner. And a shell of that pitcher. It's hard to figure, too. You know, Zambrano is still just 29 years old. You think Zambrano has been around forever. He was the youngest pitcher for the Chicago Cubs when he arrived in the big leagues. But he's practically an old man at 29, as long as he's been around, you think.
Yeah, a lot of pitches in that arm. You can see his career record. Very good for Zambrano, 106 and 72. Good ERA. Pitched pretty well out of the bullpen. When you look at his numbers, he had a rough May. If you look at the numbers alone, 0-1 with a 5 earned run average. But in 10 appearances out of the bullpen in May, he only gave up runs in 2 outings. The rest of the time, zeros.
Full count to Counsell, and he stays alive. Zambrano has had some of the most interesting injuries, issues. Remember, we were in Chicago when he had the Red Bull incident, where he had cramping in his forearms because he had polished off too many Red Bulls before the game. His body couldn't keep up. He also had a bout of carpal tunnel syndrome from internet usage.
Internet elbow. That was a few years before.
Counsell draws the walk, and a base runner here with 1 out. Some shoulder issues last year. Zambrano, as he set to face Ricky Weeks. Weeks has swung the bat well over his last 9 games. Look at the numbers. It includes 4 homers and 8 runs batted in, and you always like to see your leadoff hitter scoring runs, and he scored 7 over his last 9.
And a couple of leadoff home runs on the last road trip for Ricky Weeks.
It is news today that Weeks is not in the leadoff spot in the batting order. He's batting second for the first time in a start since the 05 season. He did come in on a double switch a few years ago into the second spot in the batting order. And he pops it up right off the end of the bat. Terrio will make the catch for out number 2.
You know, a lot of times, guys that play every day, they look at that lineup card, and if you're with Ricky Weeks, you're normally going to look at that number 1 spot in the batting room. You don't see your name in there. You say to yourself, I'm not playing today. I must not be playing. But the way things have gone with the lineup for the Brewers, in the last couple of weeks anyway, last 2-3 weeks, everybody's got to look up and down that batting order to see if they're playing.
Ken Maka just trying to find the right combination. He likes Fielder batting third because he wants him ahead of Braun to try to get his bat going a little bit. As that one bounces in. How about that play from Giovanni Soto?
That's a beauty. Hey, just throw your body in front of that baseball. Looked like a split-fingered fastball that bounced well in front of home plate. That's a tough play. Check this out. My goodness. Does a nice job. Got him in the forearm, actually. And squares his body nicely to keep Counsell at first base.
Another one down there. Soto, the rookie of the year 2 years ago, had a down season last season. He was swinging the bat pretty well to begin the year, but has tailed off, and so much so that Coy Hill is getting a lot more opportunities to catch for Lou Piniella. Although it was Soto who had the home run in the second to give the Cubs a 3-1 lead. Zambrano looks content to work around Fielder.
Well, Prince has got a couple of home runs career against Prince. I should say the other way around. 361 career batting average for Fielder against Zambrano. Maybe that's why.
3 balls, no strikes. Counsell at first. And that one misses. Threw him a 3-0 breaking ball. So here comes Ryan Braun. Fielder draws the walk. Second walk in the inning for Zambrano. His first 2 walks of the game. And now Braun a chance to make him pay. So Zambrano clearly pitching around Fielder to get to Braun. 2 men on with 2 out. Zambrano a little more animated here in this 3rd inning. Bouncing around on the mound a little bit. Braun was late, and the count evens at a ball and a strike.
There's that high fastball that Braun, you can see his face, wondering why he keeps swinging at that pitch. And I don't think Zambrano has thrown him a strike yet tonight, though.
Braun did drive in a run his last time up on a ground out. Was quickly down in the count 0-2. Zambrano has yet to put one in the strike zone. 1-2. Best fastball at 95. That curveball from Zambrano at 71. He's comfortably sitting around 90 to 91 with his fastball tonight. See what he has in mind for Braun here. 2 outs. First and second for the Crew. And another good play by Giovanni Soto.
He's throwing that split finger pitch down in his dirt where it belongs. That's where you want it, particularly with 2 strikes. It's never a pitch that you really can throw for a called strike very often. That's your strikeout pitch.
Zambrano got Braun to swing and miss at 2 outside fastballs in his first at bat. Casey McGee would be next. Goes back to that fastball, and Braun able to check his swing, according to Marvin Hudson.
Yeah, that pitch about 6 inches off the outside corner. Braun able to hold up on it. He started to go, but looked like it was pretty close. Could have gone either way.
Full count. And time is called.
And that threw a slider. You wonder if Brawny was eyeballing that pitch.
It was his catcher. It was Giovanni Soto who called time. So we'll do it again. 3-2. Runners go. Braun fouls it away. Went back with a fastball.
Now the first pitch that's been away from Brawny that's been a strike. Strikes on the inner half. Pitches off the plate away for balls.
Counsell at second base. He reached on a walk. Fielder reached on a walk. He's at first. Good battle between Braun and Zambrano here in the 3rd inning. And Braun strikes out. Zambrano went right back to the fastball away. And Ryan strands a pair of base runners. Zambrano is scoreless 3rd. 3-1 Cubs.
benefit the Down Syndrome Association of Wisconsin. Winners will be able to go on the field immediately after the game and have a game-worn jersey autographed and handed to them off the back of a Brewers player. Wives will be walking throughout the ballpark and staffing tables that night until the 4th inning for a small donation of just $1. Just a single buck, 4 quarters, whatever you got will do the trick, guys.
All right, Craig, thank you. As we head to the 4th inning, top of the 4th, Cubs coming up. Alfonso Soriano leads off for Chicago. And Randy Wolf coming off a 3-up, 3-down 3rd inning after giving up 2 home runs in this game. A 2-run homer in the first by Bird, and Soto with a solo shot in the 2nd inning. Quickly 0-2 on the Cubs left fielder. And in stark contrast to Marlon Bird's stance at the plate, the exact opposite of Alfonso Soriano, spread out wide in a deep crouch. And Soriano, one of the few big league hitters that actually uses a closed stance any longer.
Yeah, not too many guys do that. Everything's either straight up or a little bit open. A closed stance and right at the front of the batter's box. And I think he's the only guy that does that.
Wolf strikes him out, so maybe Randy Wolf starting to get dialed up a little bit. Well, a good battle between Ryan Braun and Carlos Zambrano. How about pitch by pitch?
Yeah, a 7-pitch at bat. Zambrano finally able to get him. Bronny's having a tough time with that high fastball from Zambrano tonight. Has been behind just about every one of them. Burned off the outside corner. Came close to it, but it's the best pitch they're hitting at bat. The fastball down, out over the plate, and Bronny swings right through it.
Brewers strand a pair in the 3rd inning. And Ryan is 0 for 2 against Zambrano. Here's Soto. Giovanni Soto jumped on the first pitch his last time up. Soto, when he swings at the first pitch this year, is 12 for 18 at the plate. 12 hits and 18 at bats. 4 of those 12 hits, home runs. Casey McGee's got plenty of time. And a strong throw for out number 2. AT&T Trivia tonight. We want to know who has been in the major leagues longer, Randy Wolf or Jim Wolf. Randy, the Brewers starter. Jim Wolf, the third base umpire.
That's a good one. Just so happens we have our handy dandy umpires media guide out tonight. I happen to know how many years Jim Wolf has umpired.
Jim Wolf will be 40 in July, 41 in July actually. He's 40 currently. Randy Wolf is 33. '20-year-old Starlin Castro at the plate for the Cubs. And he lines one into left. Braun will play it on a hop. The young shortstop coming up with another hit that gives him 3 for the series. Had a 2 for 4 night last night with a double.
Yeah, did a nice job going down and getting that one. He's a big kid for a shortstop. Reminds you a lot of Edgar Renteria with his size, and he's able to cover the plate. The Cubs expect a lot of power as this young man matures in the major leagues.
Here's Zambrano now. Well, the 8th place hitter in the Cubs lineup takes on a different role when Zambrano is batting 9th. Feels more like an American League lineup for the 8th place hitter. That gets by Kataris. Castro on his way to second. The throw is not in time. A good throw might have had him. A good catch. Castro would have stayed put.
Good instincts by Castro, not taking anything for granted, getting that big secondary lead and able to get himself into scoring position for the pitcher. You would think that goes down as a pass ball. I mean, that basically hit the glove and dirt at the same time. As much as I hate to say it.
Officially a wild pitch. Under review. Zambrano bounces one to Casey McGee. Long throw is in time. So Wolf gets through it, a scoreless fourth. And the mighty Casey will lead us off when we continue. We head to the bottom of the fourth.
Park, Cubs, Brewers. Marlon Byrd got the Cubs off and running with a 2-run home run in the first inning. Bird's 8th of the year. Ryan Braun driving in. Craig Counts on a ground out to first base, and Giovanni Soto with number 6 on the year gives the Cubs a 3-1 lead.
Casey McGee will lead off as we head to the bottom of the fourth inning. And among National League third basemen, the numbers. Now, these are the top 4 vote getters. Chipper Jones is in there somehow. He has had a terrible year this year for the Atlanta Braves, oft injured as well. Casey McGee's numbers better than most, and depending on how you look at it, he's got a higher batting average and more runs batted in than David Wright. 1 fewer home run.
Placido Polanco, kind of a surprise on that list, coming over from the American League.
A lot of Phillies are well represented. Of course, they sell out every game at Citizens Bank Park, and the Phillies have the reputation in the National League. They have won 3 straight division titles, trying to return to the World Series for the 3rd consecutive year as well.
And another team that struggled to score runs. It seems to be a theme throughout baseball.
And that's hard to believe, the Phillies. They look like a team that was ready to be what they have been the last 3 seasons.
And particularly in that ballpark in Philly.
I think you're onto something, though, Rock. You know, you said the night after they faced R.A. Dickey, which meant they faced knuckleballers in back-to-back games. I don't think the slump would extend it this long, but you might be onto something.
Yeah, well, that has nothing to, I mean, I don't think the knuckleballers at this point have anything to do with it. Not
I don't know.
Was it 2 weeks?
Casey hits one high in the air to left field. This will be run down by Soriano on the warning track. Just missed it.
They take advantage of the Harley-Davidson double play. For $16, get 1 Terrace Reserve ticket to one of 17 select Brewers games and 1 adult admission ticket to the Harley-Davidson Museum. For details, call 414-902-4000.
Checking out a little hockey there in the Harley-Davidson deck.
Blackhawks Flyers.
Big news. Blackhawks Flyers, especially down in Chicago.
Eddie Cedars' Chicago Blackhawks needing 1 win.
Zambrano and Edmonds, former rivals turned teammates, turned rivals again. Edmonds for 8 years a Cardinal. That great Cardinals-Cubs rivalry. Zambrano falling behind Jim Edmonds. You figure Edmonds now at this point, with Corey Hart's success this year, basically in a two-man platoon in center field. He and Carlos Gomez. It had been a three-man weave out there between Edmonds and Gomez and Corey Hart.
And Jody Garrett getting some playing time before he landed on the disabled list.
I talked with Jody yesterday. His heel is not healing well.
Yeah, that's a strange injury.
He's very frustrated. Does not understand how it can linger this long. Thought it was going to be a day-to-day thing. That one just missed, and Edmonds is aboard with a walk. Third walk, and all three of the walks for Zambrano have come in the last 2 innings. And that'll bring up Corey Hart with a runner at first. Well, Hart belting his 15th home run last night, but if you go back to mid-May, in his last 23 games, has 12 homers, 26 runs batted in. That's when he's done all of his damage and has turned into one of the premier power hitters.
It leads the National League in home runs with 15 and 4th in slugging percentage at .567.
Hart popped one up in foul territory his last time up. Corey hit a high towering home run to left field last night, but has power to all fields. Hart's one of the few guys that can consistently hit home runs over the center field wall.
Man, he's big and tall. He's got good leverage. Boy, when he stays back and lays off that pitch away, no telling what kind of numbers he can put up. And he's been doing that the last 23 games, laying off that slider off the outside corner.
You know, the home runs, according to Dale Swaim, are a direct result of a little more strike zone discipline, plate discipline, able to lay off the slider, which had always been his nemesis pitch. Got the count in his favor here, 2-0. And Hart takes one right down the chute.
Yeah, good movement that time, 92 miles an hour, and looked like that had some pretty good sink to it, a little wrinkle in it.
Three to 1.
Well, Zambrano is having a tough time. He's throwing a lot of pitches right now. 65 pitches and have a ball to strike ratio at about 50-50. 32 balls, 33 strikes.
He's only given up 1 hit, but he has walked 3 and he's hit a batter. And he's behind Corey Hart 3-1. And he lost Hart. Back-to-back walks, and the Brewers with 2 on and just 1 out. Hey, a reminder that baseball's biggest stars go head-to-head for one spectacular night in the summer's biggest event, as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2010 MLB All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 13th, live from Anaheim at 7 Central, only on Fox. And how many Brewers will end up in Anaheim? Ryan Braun at this point leads all National League outfielders. He's almost a lock to head to his 3rd consecutive All-Star game as a starter.
Got to keep voting for him, though.
Keep it up.
Keep it up. Brewer fans have been tremendous about voting for their players. getting him into that All-Star game. Take nothing for granted.
Go to Brewers.com, vote Brewers. This is the final homestand that you can actually use the punch cards, but you can vote up to 25 times per email account online. And some of the leaders right now, you see Braun is first among outfielders. Fielder is third. McGee is fourth. That's a surprise. Well, you got to think the way Giovanni Gallardo is pitching, he has a chance to be an all-star as well. Of course, that'll be selected by the managers. He is pitching like an all-star. He's pitching like an ace.
And the new rules regarding selections to all-star games, you have to be able to pitch to be on the team. You could be announced as an all-star.
As Kataris pops one up to Castro.
You can't be on the active team if you're not able to pitch that day.
Well, that was a big out for Zambrano, retiring the 8th place hitter. And now 2 gone with 2 on, and here comes Randy Wolf. Speaking of good hitting pitchers, though. Randy Wolf is 8 for 30 this year. That includes his strikeout in the 3rd inning. .267 batting average. That one's well hit. Right center field. Marlon Byrne is on the run at the track, and that ball is off the wall. Edmonds will score. Here comes Hart right behind him. And we are tied thanks to a double by Brewers pitcher Randy Wolf.
Amazing, isn't it? My goodness. 9th hit for Randy Wolf, and this one nearly got out of here. Deepest part of the ballpark. And the 2 walks come back to haunt Carlos Zambrano. Edmonds, Hart score on the double by Randy Wolf. He got a fastball out over the plate and gave it a ride into right center. And the Brewers tie it.
How about that? Zambrano gets Kataris. And Jim's brother comes up with a couple of ribbies on a double. That is his 2nd and 3rd runs batted in of the year, Randy Wolf.
Only the 2nd hit for the Brewers, but they've got 3 runs on the board.
2nd double for Randy Wolf. Both of the walks coming to score here in the 4th inning. And now Counsell trying to give the Crew the lead. And you can see why there is so much frustration concerning the Cubs and Cubs fans concerning Carlos Zambrano. Facing the pitcher giving up the 2 RBIs to tie the game. Mind you, a good hitting pitcher. Counsell into center field. Bird coming in, and he's got it. The inning is over, but Randy Wolf helping his own cause here tonight. He blisters one into right center, and we are tied at 3 as Wolf belts his 2nd double of the season. Settling the score is one thing, but sometimes there are moments you'd want to relive purely for the glory. Let us know which of these two moments in Brewers history you'd like to see replayed. Vote online at foxsportswisconsin.com. Also, join us on June 20th for Season 2 of Replay right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The 81 game against the Tigers, or 82 against the Angels. We'll take your vote. You choose. It's kind of like, having the remote control in your hand.
Can we vote up here?
Absolutely. You can. Go to foxsportswisconsin.com.
82 versus the Angels would be my vote. That was a great game.
Duly noted. Maybe your influence alone will tilt the scales toward 82. Here's Ryan Theriot to lead off the fifth. And on a bounce to Weeks. One gone, one pitch for Randy Wolf and one out. All right, Rock, our AT&T trivia. Who has been in the major leagues longer, Randy or Jim Wolf? The pitcher or the umpire? Answer is Randy Wolf. He was in the big leagues in 1999.
Yeah, Jim Wolf is in his eighth season this year.
Randy was up in June. Jim Wolf, his first big league game in September.
You can see the resemblance. They put a goatee on Jim. Maybe twins.
Well, if you've ever had a family member who's played the game, especially at this level, and I know just watching your son play college ball, I suppose, and they're used to it now. Of course, they've done it for over a decade, but I suppose Jim Wolf has to make extra sure that no emotion comes out whatsoever.
Right. Yeah, that's got to be a tough thing.
Jim Wolf was behind the plate for Dallas Braden's perfect game earlier this year.
They say the same thing about you and your brother, right?
Oh, I was a basket case.
Brother Mike pitching. You watching, whether it be at the ballpark or listening on the radio. It's a tough thing for the families.
Much tougher for the families than it is the players who are going through it themselves. There's a base hit. So Baker has his second hit against Randy Wolf tonight.
And Jeff Baker has been a nice addition to this Cub lineup. Against left-handed pitching, he gets the start at third base. With Aramis Ramirez out of the lineup, Mike Fontenot got to start third base yesterday.
Baker had a bout with migraine headaches a couple of weeks ago, and he's all better now, but it was a very scary situation for Jeff Baker. He actually lost sight in his right eye for about 45 minutes. And you can imagine the anxiety that was flowing during those moments.
Yeah. Wow.
Had an acute migraine, and they found the right kind of medication to clear it up, and he's back and healthy once again, and he's swinging the bat pretty well as well for Lou Piniella.
He's always shown pretty good opposite field power against the Brewers. I mean, a nice series at Wrigley Field against Milwaukee, shooting the ball line to line. He was playing second base back in those days. He's been a platoon with Mike Fontenot just about all year, whether it be second base or at third base now.
And now that Aramis Ramirez is on the disabled list, that platoon might end up at third base for a while. Although the Cubs did bring up Chad Tracy from AAA Des Moines. Two balls, no strikes on Derek Lee. He's 0 for 2 against Randy Wolf. And a strike, 2-1. That one is launched. Lee sending Braun back to the wall, and there it goes. So a milestone home run for Derek Lee, number 300 of his career. And the Cubs have regained the lead as Wolf gives up his third home run ball.
They got him on a curveball. Derek Lee got ahead in the count. Randy Wolf, he made a decision to go with a curveball, which wasn't a bad deal. There you go, a cutter down in the strike zone, off the plate. Derek Lee's always had a very good eye at the plate. Now 2-1, goes with the curveball, left it up right down the middle, and Derek Lee didn't miss it. And way back out and left.
First time this year, Wolf has given up 3 home runs in a game. And again, the Cubs have the lead. They have collected that baseball. Career home run number 300 for Derek Lee. Alfonso Soriano still sitting at 299. That's the first home run for Derek Lee since May 25th. And number 7 for the year.
Now, Derek Lee throughout this series had a tough time catching up to the fastball, and Randy Wolf goes with the slow curveball, left it up, and Lee got the head out on it.
That one is hit well to center field. Edmonds a long way to go. He's at the track, and that ball is gone. So Marlon Byrd with his second home run of the game, sprinting his way around the bases. And it's 6-3 Cubs. Four home runs given up by Wolf.
Yep, fastball, four-seamer, and no doubter, Marlon Byrd knew it. It's amazing he generates that kind of power with virtually no movement in that bottom half. Just picks the heel up, sets it down, very narrow stance, and see you later. 14th home run allowed by Randy Wolf this year.
Nady pops it up on a changeup. And the second out of the inning. Hard to figure. Wolf struggles this year. 6 earned runs on the board here tonight. Gave up 5 earnings his last start against St. Louis in 6 2/3 innings.
Hey, look at the extension from Marlon Byrd. He's got that bat head out in front. You got that belt buckle facing Randy Wolf, and head down. That's a perfect swing. And you can see that baseball hitting the bat right at the sweet spot.
Soriano takes a strike.
Yeah, watch how straight up Marlon Byrd stays. I mean, really no movement at all in the bottom half. Everything just goes right to the baseball, and a nice easy swing.
Hard to believe that Marlon Byrd, with just 9 home runs this year, with that kind of batting stance, has enough power, and you figure he's going to have a big summer at Wrigley Field. I mean, he was in a hitter's ballpark last year in Arlington, but as the south breezes start to blow, the wind begins to blow out more regularly at Wrigley Field. You figure Marlon Byrd's a guy who has a chance to hit 25, 30 home runs this year.
Yeah. Well, he's swinging the bat pretty well right now. He's one of the few guys on the Cubs that's having a pretty good road trip. Xavier Nady's been hot. Marlon Byrd's been swinging the bat. And nobody else doing much on this trip for the Cubs until tonight.
Brewers tied it up in the bottom of the 4th on Wolf's double, and 3 runs here in the 5th for the Cubs. And all 6 runs coming on home run balls. A 2-run homer by Byrd in the 1st, and a 2-run shot by Lee earlier in this inning. Soto homered back in the 2nd. And that one's well hit. Deep left center field. That one's not coming back. Soto with a home run. Man, oh man. A 2-run homer. The 3rd home run of the inning. And the 5th of the game.
Boy, getting a lot of the plate and leaving a lot of pitches up in the zone. Well, I tell you, when you look at the numbers for Randy Wolf against these Cubs, not many of these Cubs have hit him well in their careers, but boy, that pitch, look at it, right down the middle, mid-thigh, and once again, good extension and way back in left center. Cubs are getting good pitches to hit tonight, and they're hitting them.
So Randy Wolf is done. 4 2/3 innings, gives up 8 runs. Ken Maka headed to the bullpen. And they lead at 8-3. 5 runs in here in the 5th inning. Time now for our Haynes Comfort Zone this evening. Chris Smith, coming up from Nashville, making his Brewers debut in 2010, led the PCL with 16 saves. And he'll get a chance to pitch out of the Milwaukee bullpen here.
Impressive numbers for Chris Smith. In 21 innings, that covered 23 appearances, 29 punch-outs. Only allowed 3 home runs. He appeared in 35 games out of the bullpen for the Brewers. Did not have a record. And a 4.11 ERA.
He's done about all he can do at the AAA level. And now the Brewers are hoping he can present the same kind of numbers in the big leagues. Randy Wolf is out after 4 2/3, and it has been a season of frustration for him. Game was tied when this inning began. 5 runs are in on 3 homers. Lee, Bird, and Soto. And Soto and Bird both homering for the 2nd time in this game. Didn't take long for the Cubs to regain their lead. Castro swings, and it's 0-2 on the young shortstop.
Yeah, 5 home runs given up by Randy Wolf here today. His previous 4 starts, he'd only allowed 1 home run. Getting an awful lot of the plate here tonight.
0-2 the count on Castro. Smith does it with a variety of breaking stuff, and he has an outstanding changeup.
And it shows his fastball doesn't like to use it too much. When he commands it on the corners and has that changeup working when he gets ahead in the count, it can be effective. ...29 strikeouts, only
only 6 walks. He took the roster spot of Jeff Suppan, who was released at the beginning of the week. His numbers in the big leagues, that includes a stint in Boston in 08 and then last year with the Brewers. Smith was up for a little over 2 months last year, through early June and August. He came up right about this time last season, and then he came back up in September. Strikes out Castro. Good breaking ball. The inning is over, but the Cubs do big damage. They go big fly 3 times. Derek Lee, Marlon Byrd for the 2nd time, and Giovanni Soto for the 2nd time, and it's 8-3 Cubs. It's family of instant scratch games. Odds are you'll like them. And by Airtran. Go, there's nothing stopping you. Roof is open on a pretty night for baseball here at Miller Park. Unfortunately, the Cubs are doing their best to quiet down the big crowd here at the ballpark. 8-3 is our score. Zambrano back on the mound. Weeks a little soft liner into center field, and Bird dives. And what else can he do? What a great play that was. Marlon Bird.
Yeah, got a late break on it out in center field because it was off the end of the bat. Bird froze, but at good speed able to make up for it. For our Home Depot doing more on defense. Fully stretched out, making a nice play to rob Ricky Weeks of a leadoff single. Having a good night.
2 homers, a diving catch. That you'll see on the highlight reel. Here's Fielder now. Well, the way this game has gone, you get the feeling if the Brewers can hold down the Cubs on the other side, got a chance to maybe wiggle back in this game a little bit.
The Brewers have some muscle of their own. Cubs are flexing their muscles here tonight.
Got to start chipping away here in the 5th inning. A lot of baseball left. Into the shift. Theriot, low throw, dug out by Derek Lee. 3 Gold Gloves on the other end of that throw for Theriot. And an apology. Well, the Brewers Speaking of the home run ball, they've hit 71 home runs this year, second in the National League. All 71 represented here in this video piece. See how fast they went by? It was a quick 71. You had to slow it down, to catch them all.
Yeah, one behind the Cincinnati Reds. Reds with 72 home runs.
Braun has 8. Drove in a run in the first inning on a ground out. Braun now with 35 runs batted in. Ryan struck out at a big spot in the third.
You think anybody's going to catch the Toronto Blue Jays this year?
I don't think so.
97 home runs already.
Crazy.
Ball carries pretty well there. Wow.
Jose Bautista leads the American League and leads all of baseball in home runs with 18. Now Bautista plays a little third base. He started a number of games over third for the Blue Jays, but he is listed as an outfielder. And most of his starts are in the outfield now. So that's why he doesn't show up on the third baseman graphic. Just in case you wonder, we didn't leave Bautista out intentionally. He's listed as an outfielder.
Yeah, the Boston Red Sox second in the American League in home runs, 18 behind Toronto.
That gives you an idea.
Yeah.
Braun draws a walk.
And that brings us to tonight's Tavern of the Game winner at Steve's Corner Bar in Butternut, Wisconsin. They say that's on Highway 13 up there, way up there in Park Falls, up by Park Falls.
Is that right?
Yeah, way up there. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a 2010 Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and our good friends at Miller Lite.
An unusual case where the town has a more interesting name than the bar.
Butternut.
Much more interesting than Steve. Nothing wrong with Steve. It's just fairly common.
Yeah.
You got to really be creative to top the town you live in when you're from Butternut. McGee almost hit by a pitch. Now the Cubs' issues this year have not been on the mound. They have gotten terrific pitching. They're scoring plenty of runs here tonight, something they've had a tough time doing consistently this year. As McGee bounces one and is run down by Castro, flipped to second for the out. Two defensive gems by the Cubs in this fifth inning. Started with Bird and it was finished off by the 20-year-old Castro. How about this guy's range? Cubs Brewers, the I-94 rivalry, and at this point the Cubs with an 8-3 lead, swinging the home run bat here tonight. 5 homers, 3 in 1 inning. Cubs with 3 home runs and 5 runs in the 5th. An inning that started as a 3-3 tie, and that's where we sit. 8-3 as we play in the top of the 6th. Zambrano leads off. Chris Smith came into the game for Randy Wolf in the 5th inning. He struck out the only batter he faced as James Russell begins to get loose for the Cubs.
The pitch count around 90 for Carlos Zambrano. So you wonder if Zambrano is going to go out there for the bottom of the 6th inning. Still easing him back into that rotation.
And in almost any National League game, if a pitcher hits in 1 inning, he's usually going out to pitch the next, but not necessarily the case with Zambrano, as he delivers a base hit. That's his 2nd hit of the game. So Chris Smith just up from AAA Nashville, giving up a base hit.
10 base hits now for the Cubs in 5+. Swinging the bat's well. Pretty good approach by Zambrano, almost Marlon Byrd-esque. Not allowed to move with that front foot.
Top of the order now. Here's Terrio. Ryan Terrio went from May 1st to June 5th between walks at the plate.
Which is why his on-base percentage is at .311 right now. Not exactly what you want to see from your leadoff hitter.
Lou Piniella had a funny line. He told MLB.com about Terrio's lack of walks. He said, you know, he's kind of like horse racing. He got a walk on Kentucky Derby Day, and the next walk was on the Belmont. There's a strike. 2-2. Lou's a pretty funny guy.
Yeah. You got to watch yourself asking him questions, though. If you ask him a question he doesn't like or doesn't understand or thinks it's kind of silly, he'll embarrass you.
Yes, he will.
I know I don't know that by experience. I've seen it. I haven't been the recipient.
We've enjoyed it. It's always important to roll tape when Lou Piniella speaks.
Right.
Matter of fact, both of these Chicago managers are fun to listen to. Ozzie Guillen with the White Sox and Lou Piniella of the Cubs.
I think classic Lou Piniella was his scouting report on Gallardo yesterday.
That was a brilliant bit of poetry is what that was.
Classic.
What a good pitcher. Yeah.
Had a good year.
Ah. Yeah. Matter of fact, it might be worth hearing again. Just for context, no other reason. 2-2 pitch. Broken bat. Chance for 2 here. Got to hurry. The flip. Weeks the turn, and it is in time. A double play. Nicely turned, especially on the broken bat. It goes 6-4-3. Counsel to Weeks to fielder.
Now that bat breaks right in half, and the Brewers able to turn the double play. So the problems for Ryan Terrio continue here at Miller Park in this series. Now 0-for-9. He got a late break out of the box. I think he slipped on the barrel of that bat. And the Brewers turn 2.
2 outs for Jeff Baker. Ozzie Guillen drew the ire of Cubs fans when he was commenting on Wrigley Field, and their interleague series is coming up again. Specifically the batting cage at Wrigley Field, which is behind the right field wall. Ozzie said, I don't go down there. They've got rats the size of cats down there.
Yeah, under the bleachers out and right.
We asked Piniella about that. He goes, I don't know. I don't go down there either.
It's been a long time since I've seen Lou Piniella throw batting practice.
Piniella used to be the hitting coach. He was the hitting coach while he was playing.
Right.
He actually had the title of hitting coach when he was a player with the Yankees. And he said at the time, now instead of worrying about my own bad swing, I got to deal with all these other bad swings. I got no chance to come out of this. I might as well retire. He was a good player, though, Piniella.
He could hit. Yeah, he could hit. And talk about hitting the ball to right field. Lou Piniella was very good at that. Back in those great Yankee teams. Back in the late 70s.
It's another thing he shares with Ozzie Guillen. They were both rookies of the year when they were players. Smith with a strikeout. And the inning is over. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning.
Been pitching exceedingly well. He's 6-0 and has started off a little shakily, and he's really pitched well here in his last 8 or 9 starts. He's a good-looking young pitcher. He really is. Top of the rotation type guy.
It's funny every time.
Well, he knows a little bit more about Gallardo than that. He just doesn't want you to think he knows anything about it.
That was great. That was funny.
That was classic Lou Piniella.
Good pitcher. All right, so Piniella and his Cubs have an 8-3 lead here as James Russell is on the pitch. Zambrano, 5 innings. He gives up just 2 hits, but 5 walks. Surrenders just 3 runs, and remember, 2 of those runs were delivered by Randy Wolf, the pitcher at the plate.
Yeah, good numbers for Russell coming out of that bullpen. 3 left-handers for the Cubs, 4 right-handers, so a very well-balanced bullpen for Lou Piniella.
Jim Edmonds down the line. That's a fair ball, and takes a big side bounce, and Edmonds is going to end up at second base. So a double for Jim Edmonds to start this 6th inning. Lefty on lefty comes up with an extra base hit.
Jim Edmonds continues to think left field when he's up there at the plate. Left-hander trying to shoot that outside corner, left it out over the plate, and still Edmonds thinking left field, thinking opposite field. And the reason he's able to handle that pitch is because he's covering the outside corner thinking slider. Russell made a mistake and able to whistle it down the left field line.
Well, Edmonds uses all parts of the field so well. That's his 11th double. Look at that straight chart. That's as balanced as you can be right there.
Yeah, that's why you play him straight away.
See if Hart can give the Brewers a quick strike. Got sawed off a little bit. That ball's in the air for a long time, but Bird will run it down. And the first out of the inning. Let's get you caught up here. Our Cousins game reset. Marlon Bird has had a big night. Has a couple of home runs and a diving catch in center field. Giovanni Soto has 2 home runs as well. And Derek Lee has a home run. Meanwhile, Randy Wolf driving in 2 of the 3 Brewers runs. But Randy Wolf giving up 8 runs in 4 2/3 tonight. And the Cubs have the 8-3 lead in the 6th. 1 gone for Kataris. David Risky will make his 2010 debut momentarily. Talk about a guy who's been on a long comeback trail. Good to see him back.
Only 2 pitchers down in that bullpen that have had very long rehabs, and both of them wonder if they're ever going to pitch again. Chris Capuano and David Risky.
Kataris is 0 for 2. He hit one sharply in the 2nd inning, but he hit it to Marlon Bird. Popped up his last time up, and he pops up this time. Bird again. He's been busy tonight. So 2 outs, and with the pitcher spot coming up, Ken Macha is going to go with Carlos Gomez to pinch hit. So Chris Smith is out. Goes an inning and a third, no runs, just 1 hit. And here's Carlos Gomez to pinch hit for Smith.
And still only 4 bench players available to Ken Macha. That's one thing I think the Brewers would like to adjust a little bit. Maybe get that extra bench player, that extra pinch hitter. I'd like to have 5, but when you're carrying as many pitchers as the Brewers are, you can't do it.
Well, let's put it this way. If you are the upper levels of the Brewers minor league system and you're a right-handed hitter, it'd be a good time to get hot. Because the Brewers are searching for someone off the bench to hit right-handed. Gomez, a little cue shot. Castro, a long run, and he runs it down. Cubs are playing some defense tonight. 2 great plays by Castro and 2 by Bird. Inning is over, and a scoreless frame for Russell. Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by the new Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. And by Toyota. Thank you for standing by us. For more information, visit buyatoyota.com. Nighttime at Miller Park, and it is 8-3 Cubs. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. The Cubs are here tomorrow. It's a matinee. 12:30 is airtime on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And then interleague baseball continues. The Rangers are in town. They are chasing the Angels. David Riskey back on the mound in a Brewers uniform. And after Tommy John surgery last year, he is on the mound for the first time since last April. And you give a guy a lot of credit. He signed a 3-year contract. He could have easily just collected his money,
mailed it in,
called it a career, at least in Milwaukee, but he had the fire burning hot to get back, and here he is.
Yeah, he made one appearance with the Brewers last year. As you mentioned, back in April in San Francisco, went back on the disabled list, and here he is. Has to feel good for Riskey. Started out in Brevard County, down in A-ball, got to AAA.
Pops up Derek Lee. There's Jim Edmonds, who will make the call and the catch for out number 1.
Well, it's always been fastball, split-fingered fastball for David Riskey. He fiddled around a couple of years ago with a slider. It didn't work out for him. They say that his velocity is back in the low 90s. That last pitch at 88. With 20 and 20 out of the bullpen, had a terrific season for the Royals before coming to the Brewers,
which earned him that 3-year deal. But Riskey said he has never pitched with a pain-free elbow as a Brewer until now. And he's excited to come back. I had a long talk with him today, and you know, players can talk about fulfilling contracts and what have you. But Riskey, you get the feeling he really meant it. I mean, he wants to prove to Brewers fans that it wasn't a mistake, that he can pitch, and he's going to have 3 or 4 months to prove that he can pitch.
And maybe get another contract. It'll probably be a 1-year deal, but you never know. If he pitches well, Brewers may want him back, or if not, somebody else.
There's that splitter. And a ground ball to Weeks. Marlon Byrd retired. 2 outs. Well, say fans, this season you have a chance to be a part of the Brewers Community Foundation. At every home game this season, the foundation will stage a 50-50 raffle. Raffle tickets will be sold throughout Miller Park for just $2, and 50% of the net revenue will be awarded to a lucky fan each game. The remaining proceeds go to the foundation, and so far, Rock, over $200,000 has been raised for the Brewers Community Foundation. Say hi to Cecilia Gore, who runs that foundation. 2 outs. And here's Nady. Speaking of Tommy John elbow surgery, Nady had his done last July. Not quite the setback for a position player as it is a pitcher, though.
Right.
And a much quicker return for Nady, although he's still not throwing the baseball very well.
No, still an outfielder has to throw the baseball, and you'd be surprised how much it affects your swing when you've got ligament damage in that elbow. I know. I didn't have the full-blown Tommy John, but I had ligament issues. They had to go in and tighten that ligament on my throwing arm, and you know, not just throwing the baseball is a problem when you have an injury like that.
Well, Riskey said his elbow was probably ready to blow out anyway, but when he started throwing a slider, as Rock mentioned a moment ago, 2 years ago, that's when it officially got locked up. And
especially when you've never thrown one before.
Yeah, he had always thrown fastball split, but he came to Milwaukee. His fastball was in the mid-80s, not the low 90s. He was doing whatever he could to get outs at the big league level and try to survive. Boy, there's a beautiful split finger right there. That's his money pitch. And David Risky, a 3-up, 3-down inning. Welcome back to Milwaukee, Mr. Risky.
Jerry and Craig back with you at Miller Park, going down to the bottom of the 7th inning right now. We're getting ready for our Brewers Live postgame coming up, presented by Lincoln Mercury. One of the things we're talking about, Jerry, is what happened to Randy Will, pitching pretty well until that 5th inning where he gave up the 5-run.
Actually, he had pretty good command. It looked like he was throwing the ball fairly well. In the 5th inning, got the ball up over the plate. Couldn't get ahead of hitters, got behind, made pitches, and they hit him.
Well, we'll continue to break that down now in our post-game report. Also, our instructional tonight. Well, Rock's got a special guest, and we're talking bats coming up after the ball game, Brian.
Oh, is that right?
Talking Rock bats. That's not my bats. That's a bat company. A buddy of mine, Roland Hernandez, is in, and going to talk about the controversy that everybody, not so much this year, but the last couple of years, ash, wood, and maple.
So the difference between the two.
It may surprise you the answer to the question why some bats break the way they do. You're going to have to stick around.
We will get an answer on that tonight, huh?
Yes, definitive.
All right.
Indisputable evidence.
Rock bats. Are you sure you don't have anything to do with that?
I promise. I promise. No conflict of interest here. Although
fair and balance is what we need.
Although Roland is a fantasy camp participant. There's the connection.
Okay.
He's got other ties to the Brewers.
Craig Counsell dumps one into left field, a base hit. So Counsell on base for the 3rd time, his 2nd hit. Speaking of bats, our Ho Chunk text question tonight. No, the Ho Chunk text question has to do with Steven Strasburg, and Adam in Green Bay wants to know, can you remember a player with more hype than Strasburg? And I would say no. From my side of the fence.
I don't remember a player with more hype, and to take it a step further, perform the way he did under all of that pressure.
14 strikeouts for Strasburg last night.
No walks.
And he struck out the final 7 he faced. Consistently 97 miles an hour plus, and on a number of occasions hit triple digits last night. And lost in the debut of Strasburg was another terrific rookie. Mike Stanton was called up from the Florida Marlins. This guy, we haven't seen him, but he's supposed to be something special. He had 3 hits in his debut last night in a loss to the Phillies.
He had 20 home runs already down in the minor leagues. They had to call him up. And not a bad debut. 3 for 5.
I've heard you talk about this before, but as you see Trevor Hoffman getting loose, it seems like rookies are coming to the big leagues with more confidence than in years past. Now that comes from you. Now, why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. I think that these guys are not spending a whole lot of time in the minor leagues. I mean, they come in highly touted, the money that they get and all the hoopla they get when they sign, and they're not in the minor leagues as long. A lot of it has to do too with teams are allowing young players to come to big league spring training, so they have that connection with the players when they get there. It's not as overwhelming.
That's a good point. Much like what we saw with Eric Arnett, the Brewers' first round pick last year. He was in camp just for a couple of weeks, but he was still around the ball club.
It's in their contract when they sign that they have to go to spring training, big league spring training. Not necessarily have to stay with the team when the season starts, but they get that connection, that feel, that familiarity with the players.
Ryan Braun certainly fit right in his first day. Two and two to Weeks. And a line drive to center field, a base hit. So back-to-back hits, and the Brewers now cooking up something here in the 7th.
Yeah, first 2 on for the middle of the order. Let's get something going here and get back into this ball game. A long ball here, and you never know. It looks like Ricky double clutch. Might have been something off speed. Got back in the hitting zone just a bit, but Ricky muscles it into center field.
All right, so 2 on now. Counsell and Weeks aboard, and here is Fielder. And one swing of the bat from making this a game again. Fielder is 0 for 2. He was walked in the 3rd inning by Zambrano on 4 pitches. Ooh, had a mighty cut right off the end of the bat.
Look at that little slider that Prince was out in front of. A little bit of movement going away from him and got it right off the end of the bat.
Is that an ash bat or a maple bat?
Can't see the grain. It's all about the grain, Brian.
Here, here.
Looks like it looks like a maple bat, actually.
That looks like an ash bat. I don't know. What do I know?
Oh, you're going to know if you stick around for the instructional tonight.
That's a tapered down bat. I know that for Prince Fielder. Doesn't have the big head on it. 2 on, nobody out. See if Fielder can cash in. That's sawed off. 1 and 2. Fielder uses a bat that is scooped out at the end, has the cupped bat. There you go. Those are all ash bats right there. All the brown ones anyway. There's the grain Rock's talking about.
Yeah, there's the grain. Nice straight grain.
Fielder to right. That's down for a base hit. And here come the Brewers. The bases are loaded. 3 straight singles to start this inning. And the cleanup man coming up, Ryan Braun.
Well, there is activity down in that Cub bullpen. And here comes Lou Piniella.
Piniella goes to the home plate umpire, Darryl Cousins, so a double switch is coming up here. And Xavier Nady made the final out, so it looks like Colvin will come into play right. Put Colvin in the pitcher spot. And to the bullpen goes Piniella. Will set up the new pitcher. Ryan Braun is coming up. He bats with the bases loaded and nobody out. Can the Brewers fight their way back into this game? Stay with us and find out. Seventh inning, the first three batters have reached on singles, and Piniella is going to his bullpen here. And a man he has just called up. This is one of the prized prospects from the Cubs system, the #1 prospect, as a matter of fact, Andrew Cashner, on for the 4th time.
Yeah, big man out there in the mound, 6'6", 210. He can bring it. Flat out, throws hard. Last year in AA. Had big strikeout totals, did Cashner. And with the bases loaded and nobody out, he's got to deal with Braun and McGee.
So Tyler Coleman will enter the game in right field. Cashner goes into Nady's spot, and here comes Braun. Bases loaded, nobody out. A 5-run Cubs lead. They scored all 5 of those runs to take the lead in the 5th inning. And what a spot for a young pitcher to be in, Cashner. Cashner was the first rounder for the Cubs, the 19th overall pick in 08. So it was a quick rise to the big leagues for him. 2-0. Counsell over at third. He had a single to left. Weeks banged one to center, and Fielder pulled one to right. 3 singles to start the inning. Braun down the right field line, foul. That one slices foul. Just missed.
Bronny had a pretty good pitch to hit and ripped it right down that line, but just couldn't keep it fair. Not fouled by much. And fastball out over the plate, and Bronny covers that outside corner very well.
2 balls and a strike. And Ryan sends one in the air to center field, playable for Bird. This will be deep enough to get Counsell home. The throw comes to second base. Counsell scores. Braun has his second RBI. It's 8-4, but 1 out.
Boy, had a nice pitch to hit. Yeah, after missing with a couple of sliders off the outside corner. Got behind Braun, almost ticketing the right field line with that one, and then came back with a 4-seamer down the middle at 96 and just missed it.
Nothing wrong with this arm. 98 and 96 in that at bat to Ryan Braun. McGee's one of the best fastball hitters in the league, and he'll step in with runners at the corners. Tying run is in the on deck circle. Casey out in front of a breaking ball. Boy, he was dialing it up for a fastball, wasn't he?
You bet. Why not? He went with a slider and a good pitch by Cashner. There's some good depth to it. Let's this ball go down as it gets to Casey.
Nice block by Soto. 1 ball, 1 strike on McGee. Since 2009, it was McGee's rookie year, the highest batting average with runners in scoring position. Both leagues. Almost hit him.
Now, we talked about the reason why Casey's been so good in these situations, because he doesn't try and quote-unquote do too much. I mean, he takes what the pitcher gives him. If he gets the count in his favor, he will look for a pitch to turn on and try and hit out of the ballpark, but normally just trying to shoot the ball to the opposite field.
Strike on the corner, 97 on the black. And it's 2-2. Well, at the very least, McGee trying to get one to the outfield to score another run, but the Brewers need to get greedy here. 2-2. Casey strikes out. Some wicked stuff from the rookie Andrew Cashner, and down goes McGee.
Yeah, very unusual to see Casey strike out in these situations. A couple of sliders, first 2 pitches, and came with 2 fastballs to get the count to 2-2. There's that court right on the corner at 97. Then he gets him with a slider. Slider at 88.
2 outs. Here's Edmonds. First and third with 2 gone. A run is in, and Edmonds is late. Andrew Kashner comes to the big leagues with just 43 minor league games under his belt, and he's been a starter in the minor leagues. Made just 4 relief appearances, but mostly a starter in his 2+ years in the Cubs system. Edmonds sends one high in the air. Back is Bird. And the inning is over. The Brewers let a big opportunity go by. The young Kashner impressive.
Tomorrow, coverage begins at 12:30 in the afternoon. It will be a cooler day. We'll see some sunshine. Clouds will increase through the course of the game. First pitch temperature around 65.
Roof is open on a gorgeous night for baseball tonight. The Brewers and the Cubs, game 2 of the series. Cubs lead it by an 8-4 score, and Trevor Hoffman is in the pitch for Milwaukee.
Well, 20th game for Trevor. He's been throwing the baseball much better as of late, but really not, being asked to close games any longer with the success of John Axford, the way he's been throwing the ball. In an inning here. Been a tough year for Trevor, really has. I mean, not just down on the mound, but psychologically, it's been a big blow to him.
Pitched against the Marlins last time out, gave up a hit in 1 inning, no runs, and a couple of strikeouts in that game. Well, we had Mark Atanasio on the air yesterday, the Brewers owner, and he still feels like Trevor Hoffman could close games for the team. Right now, John Axford, who you just saw, is doing a terrific job closing games. Axford was the winner last night, picked up his 2nd win of his major league career.
Yep, tie ball game. Ken Maka decided to bring his closer in. He slammed the door, did not allow the Cubs to score a run. Actually, he did, didn't he? Gave up a run, but the Brewers came back to win.
For a moment there, it looks like Axford was going to be hit with the loss. But the Brewers, with 2 in the 9th, winning in their final at-bat last night. 2-2 to Soriano. And a pop-up behind the plate. Kataris has room to make the catch. Soriano is retired. Well, the Cubs have played long ball tonight. They have 5 homers in this game, and they are in our Jimmy John's delivery of the game thus far. Marlon Byrd, a 2-run homer in the first. Soto is hit 2, as has Byrd. Derek Lee, a 2-run home run in the 5th. Lou Piniella has seen his club put some offense on the board.
Cubs with 8 runs here tonight, and they're 0 for 1 with runners in scoring position. It's all home runs. Now on the flip side, you turn the scorecard over. The Brewers 2 for 13. They've had their chances.
Cubs have an interesting stat split to give you an idea of how well they have pitched this year. When they score 4 runs or more in a game this season, they are 23-7. 23-7. When they score 3 runs or fewer, that's the big number that jumps out at you. 3 runs or fewer, Rock. They're 3-25 this season. That gives you a great idea of their lack of offense and their terrific pitching. Pitching well enough that when they get just 4 runs, they're winning most of the time.
Similar to the Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, you think about it, they get good pitching, they don't hit. When they hit, they don't get good pitching, and that's kind of the way it's been for both teams this year.
Hoffman looked sharp early here. Back-to-back outs and a strikeout looking on Soto. Surprised him with a fastball.
Yep, right on the inside corner.
That's really been the nemesis pitch for Trevor this season, the well-located fastball, which sets up everything else he tries to do, including his bread and butter pitch, the changeup. A bouncer to Weeks on a breaking ball, and the inning is over. 1-2-3 inning for Trevor Hoffman. He puts another scoreless inning on the board.
Hey, vote now for the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim. Help send your favorite Brewers to this year's All-Star Game by voting up to 25 times at Brewers.com. Vote early and vote often. Vote today at Brewers.com.
Final homestand where you can vote on the punch cards here at Miller Park. Then they turn it over to the internet voting. Andrew Kastner back on the mound. We mentioned he had been a starter in the minor leagues, so he is well groomed to go extended innings here tonight. You never know, Piniella might let him finish this game if possible. Corey Hart will lead off. And a hot one down the line. That is a fair ball. Soriano plays it well off the carom to throw to second base, and Hart is in there with a hustle double. Corey Hart turning one around for an extra base hit.
Well, once again, a mistake pitch, and Corey Hart rips it. That fastball middle in has been the hot zone for Corey last 3 weeks. Just inside that third baseline. So once again, a good start to the inning for Milwaukee. 7th inning started with 3 consecutive singles. Only got 1 run.
5 hits in the last 3 innings. Brewers did get a run last inning on a Braun sacrifice fly. Braun has 2 RBIs on outs tonight. The other 2 RBIs belong to Randy Wolf, who drove in a pair with a double in the 4th. Sean Marshall getting loose. He has been Pinella's setup man these days. Well, you gotta love this guy's arm. You don't get many coming out of your system that throw 98, 99 miles an hour.
Yeah, middle reliever. Yeah, that's setup man closer type stuff.
Rally hats are on. Brewers have had base runners. Matter of fact, they've had a base runner in every inning with the exception of the 2nd. 8 stranded so far tonight. Strike. 2-2.
This has an effortless delivery. It doesn't even look like he's throwing all that hard.
Speaking of young heat, Zach Braddock at his 97-mile-an-hour fastball, dialing it up for an appearance. And he strikes him out. So Cashner punches out Kataris. First out of the inning. Got him looking.
Yeah, got a slider. Jordan's looking fastball. Why wouldn't you? Throwing at 96. That slider catching the inside corner.
Joe Inglett's going to pinch hit. He's had a great year off the bench. He's batting .375 as a pinch hitter. .356 overall. Most of his at-bats have come as a pinch hitter.
And he's never been a pinch hitter before this year. They're talking to him in spring training. He says, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I've never done it.
Well, he's doing it well. And if he can continue to do it well, he's certainly a guy you can play every day. He's a natural second baseman, but a utility player who can play all over, third, outfield. He can even play short. But a left-handed bat who can have success as a pinch hitter can hang around for a long, long time.
It's been a big improvement for this Brewers ball club. Last year, pinch hitting was a big problem. Not this year. Jody Garrett last year had the most pinch hits. That was 7. Inglett's already surpassed that in mid-June.
Hard at second. Ball and a strike on England. That one caught the corner. 96. Jody Garrett still out with a heel injury. Suffered in Minneapolis at Target Field. Cashner is slowly pitching his way into a more prominent role with the Cubs. You could easily see him emerging into an 8th inning role. And how tough would that be to have to deal with Cashner and Marmol at the end of games with all that velocity?
Well, it's not a matter of both of them being able to throw strikes with their breaking pitch. Marmol last night had a problem. He got the loss last night, a blown save and a loss. Great at bat by Casey McGee to win the ball game.
Marmol's 3rd blown save. Balls weren't hit all that well, but they found the spots. And really, the key in that inning last night, he hit Ricky Weeks. Ricky then stole second base, which set up the inning. His fielder walked, and McGee with the heroics. England has a little pop at his bat. The 1-2 pitch got jammed, and a bouncer to Castro. 2 outs in the inning. On the play, Hart goes to third. So 2 gone, back to the top of the order in Council. Council's had a good night, getting a start at short. 2 hits and a walk. He scored twice. Brewers must cash in on every scoring opportunity. And as Council pops it up, Soto will give it a look. That's playable, and that is the inning. Cashner has come on and given Lou Piniella 2 solid innings. Sights and sounds of the Toyota game summary. Toyota game summary. It is 8-4 Chicago as we head to the 9th inning. Crowd of 30,326, and a young flamethrower, Zach Braddock, will take to the mound for the 9th. Good sign for the Brewers to see David Risky back on the mound tonight. He made his Brewers 2010 debut, a scoreless inning. Trevor Hoffman had a scoreless 8th, and now it's Braddock.
Well, just one bad outing for Zach Braddock. That's why you see that ERA at 6. Gave up 4 runs in 1 inning against the Mets. His other 4 appearances have been scoreless.
Randy Wolf started for the Crew, gave up 8 runs in 4 2/3. He's on the hook for the loss. Zambrano for the Cubs went 5 innings, 3 earned runs. He is in line for the win. Tyler Colvin, his first at bat, takes strike 1 from Braddock. Colvin came into the game on a double switch. Braddock's fun to watch. Has a great arm, a surgically repaired arm. Had Tommy John surgery as a high schooler. You're starting to sense a developing theme here.
Not many that haven't.
2 kinds of pitchers.
Right.
The pitcher that has had Tommy John and the pitcher that is going to have Tommy John surgery. As Colvin fouls it away. That's an outstanding mustache.
That's a good look.
That takes years of work. And years of dipping in the brew. He looks a lot like Bernie, actually. That might be the real Bernie. Colvin strikes out. Nasty breaking ball from Braddock. Day baseball tomorrow here at Miller Park, and it's Dave Bush back in the starting rotation after a relief appearance on Sunday against Ryan Dempster. Dempster has been good this year. His start against the Cardinals got roughed up a little bit. Earned run average at 3.76. There's Captain Kangaroo. Checking out the media guide. Award-winning media guide put together by Mike Vasallo, John Steinmiller, Ken Spindler,
and a cast of thousands.
You've got quite a collection of media guides.
I do.
Up here.
Every time I show up from a road trip, I have a brand new Brewers Spiral media guide. I've got 7 of them in my drawer, and I'm not giving them up.
Those are hard to come by, the spiral ones.
I got a ton of them. You need one?
Well, keep them handy. I might.
That's nice of them. They know I'm a bit forgetful.
Terrio with a base hit.
Got to the booth yesterday. Had a Cubs media guide, and as usual, a brand new Spiral Brewers media guide. You know, sitting right there.
How about
for my enjoyment?
Your collection of media guides. Where are you storing all of these media guides?
Credenza down here. I got some drawers and stuff them in there, and next time the Cubs come in, I'll have another media guide sitting on my desk, and I'll have 2 of those.
And then at some point we use them to stack things with.
The fire sale.
Well, media relations has launched into the new age as well. You know, you can get every media guide in baseball on a zip disk.
A what?
A little disc. The little disc you put in your computer.
Yeah, I got you.
The USB.
And they've got the game notes online too,
right? Game notes.
MLB.com. And you get you're privy to the game information that we get up here.
Giving away all of our secrets. Baker pops it foul. 0-1 to count. Zach Braddock trying to get through this 9th. The Brewers in the bottom of the 9th will have Weeks, Fielder, and Braun coming up. So you'll get to see the big boys swing the bat one more time. If anybody gets on, McGee, you'd love to get Corey Hart in that bat in the 9th. Runner takes off. Katara's throw is into center field, and on his way to third goes Terrio. The throw to third base, and the ball pops out of McGee's glove. Terrio and the ball arrived at the same time. That'll be an error on Kataris, a stolen base and an error.
Well, good job by Jim Edmonds. He drove right away. Check out Edmonds out there in center field, fairly medium deep. Has to make sure that the ball is not going to be hit. He takes off as soon as that baseball is thrown and made it fairly close to third base. Yeah, the problems continue for the Brewers to throw out base runners.
That has been a big area of concern for Brad Fisher and company. Baker swings and misses. Ball and 2 strikes is the count. One and 2 on Baker. As Baker sends one to center field. That is well hit. Edmonds a long way to go. That one bounces up and out of here. A ground rule double. Baker with his third hit. And the Cubs have added to their lead. It is now 9-4. First 3-hit game of the season for Jeff Baker.
And all 4 of his base hits have come to the opposite field. Not looking to pull the baseball. This guy's pretty good at this. A pitch that you would ordinarily think a guy would try and pull. Jim Edmonds not even close. And the Cubs add on.
Here's Derek Lee. Derek Lee with a milestone home run in the 5th inning. Career home run number 300 for Derek Lee. His first home run since the 25th of May. It's been a while for him. He's had a terrific career. But a down season offensively this season. Bouncing ball to third. Counsell will make the play to first as Baker advances to third base. 2 outs now for Braddock, and it's Marlon Byrd. Well, it's supposed to be a beautiful day tomorrow. We invite you out to join us. Come out to the ballpark, catch a few rays, watch a little big league baseball. Crowd reacting to a fan who runs onto the field. No taser necessary. Quickly apprehended by the Brewer security crew. Now, why would you do that? Marlon Byrd. He is our Menards player of the game. A couple of hits, 2 home runs. Byrd made a couple of nice catches as well at center field. Part of that 5-run 5th inning. That was the play in center field the very next inning. Robbing Ricky Weeks of a base hit.
Well, it's been a team effort here tonight for the Cubs, but Marlon Byrd got him going in that first inning. Set the tone for the night.
Now they're waiting here. They left the door open down the left field line. Now it's closed. Two outs for Byrd with a runner at third base. Some scores tonight. The Astros and the Rockies are tied at 2. They're in the bottom of the 9th inning. Cardinals are losing to the Dodgers again. Dodgers won it last night. A late rally. Manny Ramirez had a big hit. 2-0 Dodgers in the 3rd inning at Dodger Stadium. Counsell. And the inning is over. Cubs get a run. They lead it 9-4. Last call for the Brewers. Final call for the Brewers here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Down 5. They're still having some fun here at the ballpark, though. School is out, or is letting out this week for most of Wisconsin. Our man Mike Faulkner, he's done today, which is why he's so sad. Sean Marshall is on the pitch.
He's had a nice season so far. 30th appearance. I had to laugh.
I thought you were talking about Mike's had a nice season.
He has. Mike always has a good year. 5-2 this year and a 1.91 ERA. Big old curveball for Sean Marshall that apparently he's been throwing for strikes. Has not a lot of home run. 35 strikeouts in a little over 28 innings.
Ricky Weeks ready to lead off. Bottom of the 9th, 9-4 Cubs. They've out hit the Brewers 12-7. And the big difference in the game, the 5-run 5th. Remind us again what you have coming up on Brewers Live post game as far as an instructional.
We're going to be talking about what makes a good solid baseball bat. Some of these bats break in half. Some of them just crack, but they stay intact. We're going to find out why.
A little science behind the bats.
We have a bat guru as a guest today, Roland Hernandez. Used to work for the Brewers and evaluating bats for the players. A good bat, a bad bat.
So good at his job then that he made his own company out of it.
All right, Rock Bats.
Rock Bats. No relation to the Rock next door.
I have no financial interest, unfortunately.
One and two on Weeks. Little bouncer to Derek Lee, and he'll allow Marshall to help him out. One gone. Let's just kind of give you a rundown on some scores here. The Nationals beat the Pirates. Well, they've got something cooking in Washington now. That Steven Strasburg is there. He did not pitch tonight, Ron. But Drew Storen did get the win. He came highly touted as well. A young draft pick from last year. Storen's now 2-0. 7-5 Washington win. The Reds beat the Giants tonight. Aaron Harang beat Jonathan Sanchez. Guys having a good year for the Reds. Drew Stubbs hit his 7th home run.
Yep.
Reds trying to remain atop the National League Central, and if the Cardinals don't come back against the Dodgers, they'll have the lead in the division by themselves again. Phillies and the Marlins were rained out. That was set to be a great matchup, which will come tomorrow now. Josh Johnson against Roy Halladay in a rematch of Halladay's perfect game in Florida. Marshall with a good fastball strikes out Prince Fielder.
Well, he's throwing the ball well. I mean, he's throwing a lot harder than you remember him throwing in years past. Right on the outside corner, down around the knees, and that's a dandy of a pitch.
Here's Braun. 2 outs. Braun with 2 ribbies tonight. Both coming on outs. He had a sac fly his last time up and then a ground out in the first inning. He's driven in 36 for the season. Casey McGee is the league leader with Troy Gloss with 45. Braun's had a lot of base runners tonight, hitting in that cleanup spot. Every time he had batted, with the exception of the 5th, had base runners out there. And of course this at bat.
Well, he's driven in 2 tonight, both coming on outs.
Now, he drove in the first run in that first inning with a ground out. Put the Brewers on the board. They answered a 2-run Cubs first. Cubs led 3-1 after 2 innings. Brewers got 2 in the 4th to tie it, and it's been all downhill from there. Cubs scored 5 in the 5th, 3 home runs in the inning. And 5 home runs for the game for Chicago. Marshall has it, and the Cubs have evened the series as they pick up the win tonight. Final score of 9-4. Still much more to come on this game. Brewers Live, sponsored by Lincoln Mercury, starts now, and let's kick it out to Craig Kashawn.
Okay, Brian, thanks very much. Cubs even up the series with the Brewers. The finale, of course, coming up tomorrow afternoon here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. We'll get a pitching preview of that game.